Hello, my name is King Her. This is season 2, episode 4 of LiveWell, SleepWell. 15 to 20 minute podcast if you're on YouTube or Spotify. 10 minutes if you're here on social. Post every day when I can. Here we go. Happy 4th of July, and today's just kind of chill, but the topic I want to talk about today is making decisive choices. So to live well, sleep well, I believe that's also important to make decisive choices so that you can it will help you tune into your goals, like stay focused on what you're trying to do and understand exactly what you want, so like decisive choices as in making that choice whether or not you want to get that full-time job or get a part-time job, or whether or not for the future coming up, do you need extra money or do you not need extra money, or what are you going to do with your extra time? So making decisive choices. So for example, for me, my decisive choices is yes, I want to focus on Rise. I want to focus on music. I want to focus on podcasts. So just like making that choice. And what am I going to sacrifice? Well, sacrifice, maybe sacrifice some money security. So, I'm not that I can't work, but I want to use a lot of my time right now to focus on that. So that's a sacrifice that I'm taking. But it's also a decisive choice, that I made that commitment that yes, I'm going to commit to Rise, going to commit to my podcast, going to commit to singing, dancing, going to commit to my music. Making that decisive choice and making that call that you say, yes, I'm going to go for this and I'm going to do it. And you'll have to make sacrifices, but that's what it costs to make those decisive choices. But of course, it's not impossible if I say, since I want that financial security, I want to work, but I also still want to work with Rise. I also still want to do music and dance and podcasts. But then I will have less time, less time to sleep, or less time to relax, or less time for myself, or So there's always a sacrifice to be had, but it's the price to pay when you're making those decisive choices. Maybe your next decisive choices would be, I want to take better care of my health. I want to sleep better. I want to eat better, or I want to focus on, waking up early. So when you make those decisive choices, it comes with sacrifice. You can't sleep in, because you're gonna wake up early, because that's the choice you're trying to make, right? So decisive choices, it helps you tune into your goals. Because once you've decided that yes, I want to do this, then you can really focus on yes, I'm gonna do that. Like commit 100% to it. Because I know for me, part of it is just deciding on that decisive, like making that decisive choice. Like yes, this is exactly what I want to do, or this is what I'm gonna do, and because of X, Y, and Z, that's why I want to do it. And then boom, I can commit 100% to it. Because part of it for me is just that making that decision, like coming to that point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this decision because I believe in it and because X, Y, and Z. Because I already thought about X, Y, and Z, that's why I can agree with going with the decisive decision. So it helps you tune into your goal. At least for me, I know it does. And hopefully it might help you with your goals as well. Because it's about making that call. It's about making that final decision instead of just sitting on your hand kind of waiting, or kind of just sitting and waiting for things to happen, or sitting and basically not being unsure of what your next route will be. Instead of just waiting and sitting and wondering, you get to actually make the choice. You're just like, instead of waiting for something to happen, you're going out there, you're gonna make that choice. It's like making that decisive choice, because time waits for no one, and it's like you want to make it happen, or you want to get things going right away. Of course, how does that actually help you tune into your goals? Like I said, it's about not waiting. It's about not that waiting is bad. It's about shortening the time you need to really just, like, if you already know what your answer is going to be, there's no point for you just sitting around. If you know that this is what you want to do, then boom, you're going to do it, and you're not going to waste time sitting around. And also that it's a lot harder to get distracted, because you're keeping yourself accountable. You say, I want to wake up early, and if you don't wake up early, then that's on you. You're keeping yourself accountable. And if you fail, that's not because your goals and your decision, like that isn't because your goal isn't correct. Yeah, so that's because you failed to execute it. So part of that decision making is that once you made a decision, it's about executing. Can you execute it? And whether or not you can or can't execute it depends solely on you, and how it will affect you, like those choices and the decision making. But I know for me, it helps me with my goals because, like I said, because I know what I want to do, and I made that choice already. Now it's all on me. It's all on me to sit down and really do it and prove to myself that I can do it and that I get to hunker down and just get things rolling, get things going. And then if it doesn't happen, well, that's because I wasn't working hard enough, or that's because there was something that I need to do better, or that's because it's just that I'm doing something not as good as I should, or there's a lot of things I can go into it, but yeah, that's like that's how I feel like it will help you tune into your goals because because once you focus in and zoomed in on what exactly you want, then it's all about executing that game plan. Trusting the process, trusting the work, trusting yourself, trusting your skills, but as long as you follow the game plan, you should reach your destination. It's not like if you practice every day for 7 days straight, or every day for like like let's say you have a concert coming up in the next month, and you practice every day, or you practice 5 days a week until that concert comes up within the month, then there's nothing to really worry about because you've been practicing, you've been putting your work in, you have run you have run the performances back and back and back and back, and you know that you've put in the work, and you know that you know the choreo, you know that you know the verses, you know that you've been practicing your singing, so you know that you've done everything you can, and now you're at the destination. You trust the process, you trust in your work, you trust in your peers, you trust in the people that's helping you, you trust in yourself, and you know that because you've executed all that, once you get to your destination, everything's all set. There's nothing to really fear, there's nothing to worry about because you've tuned into your goal, and everything else, you were tuned in to your goal, and everything else just kind of came or is that as it is. So yeah, because you've tuned in, I'm kind of losing my train of thought, but that's what it means to like help you tune into your goals, because you made that choice that you want to perform on that concert, and then because you made that choice, you've started executing it, and that game plan helped you tune into your goals, and once you got to that point, you're able to execute it, and there's nothing to worry about. Yeah, and if there was a problem with your execution, then we know that it's your problem with your execution, not the decision making. If you made that decision already, like, yes, this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going to do, but you failed to execute, then the problem wasn't your decision, the problem was your execution. Are you really serious about this? Is this something you really want to do? Are you for sure about this? If you're for sure, then you need to execute better. And what does executing better means? You will probably have to make sacrifices. You probably have to commit more to it. You probably have to evaluate yourself honestly and see where you can improve and what needs to be better. So if you're able to execute, it helps you tune into your goal and help you weed out what is the problem with your, I guess you could say, system. Because my system would be, once I made a decision, then I execute it. And if something goes wrong, I would know that whether it's the decision or the execution, or I just need to be better. Better as in, I need to work more, So there's like those three things. Let's say those three things. Is it because the decision I made was bad? No, if I believe 100% in my decision making, then there's nothing really bad, about it. Of course, there's things to worry about, but it's not like the decision was to like do anything bad. So maybe the decision wasn't the wrong. Maybe my execution could have been bad. Well, that's probably true. Like maybe I was slacking off too much. Maybe I didn't work as effectively as I could be. Maybe I was I thought I was working hard, but I wasn't working that hard, Maybe it was execution, or maybe I worked exactly how hard as I need to be, and I got to where I need to be to perform, and that's where maybe I just need to be better. Like overall, my decision was right, my execution was right, but I just need to be better. Like I was good, but I wasn't good enough. Even though everything worked as it planned, I was good, but not good enough, and I just need to keep going, keep trying. So those are kind of the three things that I kind of evaluate myself with, and that's what helps me tune into my goals. Because with those three things, that allows me to better just see how I'm functioning, how my system is running, because my system is kind of like that, where it's like decision, okay, I made the decision. Now executing, okay, hopefully let's try to execute it the best that I can. And once I finish executing, I'm like, do I need to be better, or did I meet my standard, or is there more for me to do? And literally, with those three, it keeps me in check, and also it keeps my system flowing really well. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. I know the thought process is kind of there. Hopefully you kind of see what I'm trying to shoot for. Of course, it's kind of difficult for me to explain everything all at once, and also with the thought process too, there's a lot that goes into it. But to conclude or kind of round it all up, so making decisive choices will help tune you into your goals. And by that, it's about making that choice with what you want to pursue. And when you decide what you want to pursue, then you can just focus on executing what you're trying to pursue. And once you finish executing it and you get to your goal, does that mean, like, have you got to where you need to be? Are you satisfied, or where can you improve? And then those are the three systems that I like, which is making that decisive choice, executing it, and the results at the end, basically. And the example I would like to use is, let's say the decision is to be an artist. Okay, now you're gonna execute being an artist, and then let's say you had a performance coming up within the month, and from now to a month you need to make that decision whether or not you're going to perform. And when you made that decision that you're going to perform, how are you going to execute it, and did you execute it well to where within the month it's now performance time? Are you prepared for it? And if you are prepared for it, did you perform as well as you wanted to? And if the answer is yes, then you know that you made that choice and you executed and you had great results. Or if you made that choice, you executed, but you didn't have great results, then it's like, was it because maybe it's not for you, the decision you made was wrong, or maybe it was that you executed wrong, you didn't work as hard as you need to work, or you failed to meet your own standards, etc. Or maybe you did exactly as you'd need to, but it's just that you're not there yet, you're not great yet. But that doesn't mean you should give up. That means you should keep trying, keep going, and aim for the next part. So that's kind of the idea for today's podcast, today's episode. Hopefully that kind of all makes sense for you, because I know it was a lot to kind of juggle around for me. I gotta stop. Okay. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense for you, and hopefully I made that into a very conclusive podcast, or a conclusive idea for you. Of course, and how does that kind of relate to live well, sleep well? We all have goals, we all have dreams, and if you're able to make those decisions and you're able to execute and you're able to see your results at the end, and that will help you live well, sleep well, because we're all trying to strive to be great. Of course, I believe that we should try to be great in whatever we're trying to do. Maybe that's work, maybe that's being family, maybe that's being the best person that you can be. But I know that for me, I can live well and sleep well if I've secured, my decision, I've executed it, and I've, reached my end goal, and I'm satisfied with it. It helps me sleep well and live well, because I had something to strive for, and I'm striving for it, and it's working out, or it's keeping me, because I know I'm trying to go for this thing, and it helps me sleep well. So, it's kind of hard for me to connect those two, but yeah, you have a goal and you're striving for it, and that just makes it feels good. Live well, sleep well. That's kind of hard for me to kind of sum that up, connect those two ideas, but hopefully you kind of understand where I was trying to shooting for. But yeah, I'll end that for today. I know it's not exactly 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but it is July 4th, so maybe you go and enjoy yourself out there. And I'll bring more topics. Of course, this is Live Well, Sleep Well. This has been Season 2, Episode 4, Live Well, Sleep Well. My name is King Her. Yeah, I hope that you have a great July 4th, and, make those decisive choices, and hopefully that will be something that can help you. All right, I'll see you later. Deuces.